Hi, Sarah here. How are you today? I hope you're having a great day. We're going to be talking about the dark stuff today, just a short talk. So many people have a belief in a belief that the devil or hell or sins are real, but actually they're not, and it's just a belief that you have from this lifetime, or it could have been a belief that has come with you from another lifetime. Because when you pass over, you actually take your mind with your belief system with it, and some of the beliefs you work on in between lives, and some of them you come into the next life to work with. So I have had it on good authority from God and Jesus that there's no such thing and only love is real. Now, I know it says in the Bible that Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and nights to beat the devil, but actually he has assured me what he was doing was transcending his ego, and that means his personality self, so he could just be pure love and be a very clear channel for the Christ light. So some people have actually had frightening experiences, these dark experiences. I've had a few. I had about 10 years ago, I had in 1 year about 4 or 5 times where it felt like I was being dragged out of my body when I was asleep, and I pulled down to the pits of the earth, and that was very frightening. And then I had to learn it wasn't real, and the second one moment I was being pulled out of my body again, and I actually said, this isn't real. And in that second, it stopped. Then I had about 4 years ago, 2 weeks of whenever I went anywhere, I could feel this really evil energy, and I was so frightened. And I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. I was staying up all night saying the Lord's Prayer because I thought something awful was going to happen to me when I slept. Anyway, it wasn't until I spoke to a healer, and he said, actually, this is your inner child. You're at 13, because at 13 I was raped and I didn't deal with it. And what this was all this stuck energy in my body from the age of 13 was still in there. And this is my body's attention trying to say, Sarah, deal with this. So it was all the, the disgust and the self-hatred and the shame and all that stuff, unforgiveness and all that stuff that comes up with rape. And it was just for me to deal with. It was kind of, I don't know if you've heard of this saying, inner demons. It was my inner demons. And there's no such thing as a demon, but this was all my stuff that I hadn't looked at. And again, the second he said that, and I knew it wasn't real, I knew what it was, it went away. So it stopped. So think of your mind as a computer. Your mind and your brain working as one unit, as a computer. So your brain is the hard stuff, the computer box, the hard drive, the motherboard, etc., etc. And your mind, see it as the programming, what you've programmed your computer with. And everything that you see, that is, everything that you perceive, that is, you see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch, etc., is filtered through the lens of your belief system, and your belief system is held in your mind. So when you see something, or you hear something, or taste it, etc., then it goes from your eyes or your ears along a nerve impulse to your brain. So your brain interprets it. But then it is actually being influenced by your mind. So what you're actually seeing in your day-to-day is everything is based on your belief system. If you had a really strong belief that there were pink elephants with yellow spots, it's possible you could see pink elephants with yellow spots. So when we actually go up to the 5th dimension, it's a change in frequency, it's a change in vibration. So you actually see things that you wouldn't see in your day-to-day life in the 3rd dimension where we are now. In the 5th dimension, for example, that everything sparkles, and that's because you're actually seeing the particles of light. So if you have a belief in this dark stuff, then it's possible that you might see it or hear it or smell it or something, because that is your belief system. And just to give you another example of how this works, when I was really clearing my 13-year-old, I was living in a forest at the time. And when she got frightened, I would start to smell smoke as if the forest was on fire. And there had been some forest fires. So I would have to stop the healing I was getting from spirit and go outside and check. And of course there was no fire. But it was just her, my inner child, my body, influencing what I could smell. So things that you smell and taste and see and hear aren't always real, just based on your belief system. So it's getting a little bit darker and I can't really read what I've written. So I am presuming that things like the devil and sins and hell, etc., were made up before we had a police force. So, I mean, we're talking a few thousand years ago, and there were armies, there was the Roman army, etc. But the religious people in charge needed a way to keep people under control. So, in my view, they made up this devil and sins and things to try and keep people under control. And it worked. A lot of people then actually believed that and did behave accordingly. Now, sins. A lot of people have a belief in sins because still in this day and age, it is in a lot of religious texts that if you do that, it's a sin. If you do this, it's a sin. And then people have a belief that they have sinned, and that creates a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. So what you need to know about sins is it's not real. In fact, I actually had the angels sing this one to me, that there's no sins in the world you're in, because earth is actually a learning school. Earth is where you come to experience. So the only thing that is real on earth are experiences. There's no good experiences, there's no bad experiences, and there's no experience that is a sin. It's just a challenging experience or an easy experience, because everything is for your soul growth and your soul learning. So there is no judgments from God or spirit about anything you've done. Okay, so if you believe that you have sinned, let that one go, because you haven't. And if it's something big, it's quite likely that you chose to go through that experience before you incarnated anyway. And it's nothing that you've chosen while you've actually been going on earth. And some people have a belief in karma. Now, karma, people believe it's like a reward if they do something good, or a punishment if they do something bad. But this actually keeps people stuck on a karmic wheel and reincarnating over and over again. So karma isn't actually real. What there is something called the universal law of cause and effect, which is what you give out is what comes back to you. So it's not a punishment and reward system, it's just a law and something to be aware of. If you have if you're really angry and you go around shouting at people for a day, it's quite likely that somebody's going to shout back at you. It's going to come back at you, but that's not a punishment. Now, ghosts, entities. So if you had absolute belief there was no such thing as ghosts or entities, then they wouldn't be in your reality. Most people do believe in ghosts. Some people have had experiences with ghosts. Some people have had some unpleasant experiences again. And I do believe in ghosts and entities. I believe they're just people that haven't crossed over properly. And if you had somebody that was really angry while they were alive, then they can be an angry entity, an angry ghost. Most ghosts are fine, but you do get some that are a little bit angry. You can either know 100% that it's not real, then it's just not going to be in your reality. You can call upon Jesus or and Mother Mary or Archangel Michael to come in and help take them to the light. You can ask them to cut any energy cords between you, just in case it's something or somebody that you know, and there's an energy cord. You can get somebody in to come and clear the space in case it's the ghost or entity is actually tied to the area you're in. But what you have to really know, if you're having trouble with an entity or ghost, is that actually you are far stronger. Because you have a body, you are far stronger than any ghost or entity. And when you have enough self-love, self-compassion, or forgiveness towards yourself, you will automatically keep this kind of stuff at bay. Okay, the only reason that these ghost entities are in your energy field is because you have some kind of unforgiveness or something similar like guilt or shame that is allowing them to come in. So if you're being bothered, then do some work forgiving yourself and loving yourself, and having kindness towards yourself. Okay, so really know that there's no such thing as the devil. There is no such thing as sins, karma, hell, or damnation, okay? They don't exist. There is only love. And this has come from God, and this has come from Jesus. Only love is real. So if it's something you're being bothered with, then just keep telling yourself it's not real, and keep affirming to yourself only love is real. And that's going to help create a reality for you that only love is real. Okay, so I'm sorry that was a bit short. It's actually getting a little bit dark. I meant to do this earlier on in the day and didn't, so somebody came. So I'm sorry it's a little bit short. Okay, I hope that was useful for anybody that is having some trouble. Just really know that it's your own stuff, your own beliefs. You know, do some work on guilt and shame and forgiveness. I've got talks about that on my Facebook page if you need it, on forgiveness and things like that. But if you really know they're not real, it's not going to be a problem for you. Okay, much love, many blessings from my heart to yours.